The CFL Gambling Podcast, preseason futures and win total episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Coach June Jones, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Oh, come to the CFL Gambling Podcast 2025. Road to the Grey Cup. Home of the huge tits parlay. We are back, baby. That's what they say about the damn CFL. Let's go. Welcome, youtube.com. Type in CFL Gambling Podcast. Highly recommend staring at our stupid faces for about an hour. And we are back. I've been watching some of the preseason. Well, sort of. You know, preseason, these days, preseason, they don't even tackle. It doesn't matter the league. But I just throw it on in the background sometimes, here and there. But I'm excited for the regular season kickoff. And they shout out to the CFL for having a real kickoff, not that bullshit they're throwing out there in the UFL and the NFL. That is some European soccer bullshit. So shout out to the CFL for that. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price. But no one touches Dundee.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I am healthy once we get real sport back. You know, it's always tough. Sitting there watching bullshit over there, the UFL bullshit. You know, so much better here. Such a better home. They're not even comparable. And I'm excited to talk. I think this year is going to be very, very interesting in the within the CFL. And yeah, buckle up, people. I am joined by my co-host. You heard him here giving out winners every single day, pretty much every single episode last year. He is the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Give it up for Justin Mark, aka No Turn J Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Man, that music, it hits different when you know CFL is right around the corner. We've got preseason, about to have regular season games. It's going to be here next weekend. It crept up on me a little bit this year, but I am stoked. And yeah, let's not bury the lead. Let's talk about not only did they not vote on the kickoff for the second year in a row. You know, there were some rumblings that they might look at it. They decided to keep it. But let's talk about the other giant news. They have a new official beer of CFL, and it's Bud Light, which is made in Canada, apparently. I had no idea that was now made in Canada. I thought it was
made in Europe.
It's now made in Canada, apparently, and it is the official sponsor. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people running to buy their Bud Light for the CFL, but if they come out with team cans, I think that could be really successful. There's going to be people, the CFL fanatics like myself, even if I have to go to Canada for it, that are going to go out there to get team cans just as collectibles, right? So curious to see what they do with that, but it's all about money, right? And Bud Light's got a lot of money, and I think that's a good move for the CFL to get the official beer be Bud Light, somebody that can pour in a lot of money, because I mean, Molson's is probably not able to put in a lot of money to the Canadian Football League.
Molson was thriving in the 80s, and I want them to come back. But surprise, surprise, I want them to come back. But look, team cans.
Yeah.
I'm on board, and please, if that happens, I would appreciate some Canadians to send me that. But also, you can never go wrong with huge tits. You know what I mean? So I want to bring back the era where you just had models on a cup. I know that we're in this weird area where like you watch like a Gatorade Zero commercial and you see like a 300-pound woman working out and you're like, what the fuck am I watching here? Yeah, but we're trying to please everybody, which you can't fucking do because you have me wondering what the fuck is that commercial. Nothing wrong with models with huge tits on each can too. Go Argos, right? Bring those back. I expect 20, 30 years at least, they'll be back at some point. Huge Tits will be back. All right. And it'll be back next week when we give out our first Huge Tits parlay of the week. But man, the offseason was pretty ridiculous. And back to your beer statement, so Bud Light's made in Canada. This is the world just lying to your face left and right. Foster's is made in fucking Japan. The Australia. I mean, look, what are we doing? What are we doing here, right?
Now, and I will tell you, my plan for our first episode was to have a Bud Light here ready, and I was going to shotgun it, but I did not get time to run out and get a Bud Light because, despite being an Iowan, that is not something I keep stocked. But
I thought you were on the Kid Rock, level where you would just, no turn J-Mark. You live on a farm. I thought you would have a machine gun loaded for some. Actually, I thought you were going to have it for Molson. Right. For the good CFL fans, which by the way, I just found out as I Googled Foster as you were talking. Foster's owns Molson.
Interesting. I did not know that.
The Japanese own Molson. I'm so confused.
So is it even made in Canada anymore? I do have something that is Canadian though. Swear jar whiskey, Canadian whiskey. Tastes so good. Dare you not to swear. I'm not going to tell you too much about it. You got to tune into Old Fashioned Football tonight as we review it and talk about it. But yeah, that's the whiskey we're going to be featuring tonight.
Old Fashioned Football podcast. Check it out. And another one of these great things Canada's given us over the years down here in the States. I love our Canadian brothers and sisters, and looking forward to talking about another year as the road to, what is this, like the 120th Grey Cup? I forget, 112th, 114th. I forget.
I think it's 112th.
Yeah, it's been around for a long fucking time. Just like, I mean, dude, did you know the Argos have been around since like 1873 or 72, something like that? I mean, the sport of football is only like 6-7 years old. And these Toronto Indians, whatever the fuck is these T-Dot people were on it. They were like, hey, this is a beautiful game. Let's fucking play some football. I was just doing a deep dive on the Argos and I saw that and I was like, that's fascinating. I mean, that's 60 years before an NFL franchise. So
that is crazy. I can't tell you how many times I was watching one of these games at a family function or in public, and somebody asked, what is that? It's the CFL, Canadian Football League. And they go, oh, do you think that one's going to catch on? It's like, dude, first of all, stop.
Piles of shit out there that just phone it in. All right. The same piles of shit that want that Gatorade commercial on repeat, I bet. Anyway, folks, let's dive into it. But before we get to the futures market, because I want to talk about the offseason and everything, a lot of big time trades and signings and stuff like that. But before I do that, I want to let you know that the CFL Gambling Podcast is part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, and the SGP guys are going to be ripping packs live on air next Monday night. They'll be breaking a case of Panini Prims and Daps. And you can get 10% off your favorite team with the promo code SGPN. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break to get in on the action. I still have no idea what a Panini Prim is. I'm just assuming that's a sandwich. Are cigarettes, are they back? I do miss football, whether it was Canadian or whether it was American, when you have a big ass Marlboro sign in the background.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the guys are going to be opening sandwiches, talking about the ingredients. It's sports cards, Colby. I'm sure you collected sports cards at some point in your life.
Yeah, but they were like proper names. They weren't called Panini Prims. They were called Tops or
right.
Fleer. You know what I mean?
The Fleer Ultra, if you could spend the extra money.
When they went to Upper Deck, which you have fun with that one on Urban Dictionary, by the way. That's when it started to lose me. That Ken Griffey rookie card. Upper Deck was the end of me with sports cards. But yeah, I mean, look, this offseason has been fantastic. I would say, as far as I think there's going to be a lot of parity in the league this year. I don't know about you, but look, I got slides. I know if you're listening to this on the audio side, that's fine too. But I sat there for fucking 5 hours channeling my inner Canadian John Candy and Norm Macdonald and all these great fucking Canadians, Jim Carrey, that have had I was just building slides all day. And so the viewing point, I do think, with the exception of one clear fuck up that we'll get to, there's probably more than that out there. But anyway, let's cue these slides because yes, we are the home of the huge tits parlay. What's that?
Oh, I was gonna say real quick before we talk about the player movements, do you want to go over the rule changes? We had 3 rule changes voted through. They're not huge, but I do think that you got to see how they're going to play out because they could impact betting because these are kind of big. So, do you care if I rattle those off real quick?
I do not. Please. And I'll be honest. Maybe I saw it when it came out, but I can't remember it right now. So please, fire.
So the first one, a major penalty, which is a 15-yarder, is going to be a 15-yarder no matter what. There's no more half the distance to the goal shit. So if you're on the 20-yard line, it moves it all the way to the 5-yard line.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. Yeah. You're not going to like any of these. I'm going to tell you that right now. The other one, if a wide receiver is going to make a catch and has not jumped in the air, you cannot go for their knees. That is a major penalty. So now you got to wait for him to jump before you tackle him. Don't be coming in low. And then this one, I know you're going to love. I know you're going to love this one.
That one's so bad. The second one is so bad.
The third one, this one's worse. I promise you. If you hit the quarterback in the helmet with the crown of your helmet, it is now a 25-yard penalty and an automatic ejection. I knew you were going to like that one.
Man. Back to the Gatorade commercial. This is fucking ridiculous. It's just.
But we got the kickoff still. So
yeah, you can't tackle. You can't do anything. Look, whoever made those rule changes. You guys know we're going to die one day, right?
25-yarder is a little intense.
I just think
25-yard
we've lost our fucking brains. Like we've lost our, like, they'll say, oh, football leads to that. No, you die one day. I love that. I was like randomly clicking on, some old fucking NFL player the other day's Wikipedia page. And they're like, well, he was one of the 300 brains that was CTE. And then I'm like, wait a second. He died when he was 91. It's like, okay. Yeah, you sure that was CTE? I think we just the science isn't really proven. There's a lot of unknown in the CTE world. The more if you really dive into it,
yeah,
like people get CTE that have never played sport.
Right.
I'm serious. Like you could look this up. So to peg it as football, it just cracks me up. Anytime I'm at a bar, just start arguing with some fucking schmuck. Talking about Junior Seau got CTE, like he didn't drive a car off a cliff like 6 months before he killed himself, right? He couldn't have got it then, right? He couldn't have got it. He couldn't have got it when the fucking car went off the cliff. It must have been from football, right?
I like when the big networks like ESPN, they do a story on CTE, and then they're like, and up next, watch this UFC fight where this guy beats the shit out of an unconscious guy, but 5 seconds before they stop it. It's like, what?
How about every fucking car crash ever in life? I was 18 years old and I was in a Bronco that tipped over like 5 times. Right now, if I died, someone looks at my brain. Is it football or is it the fact my Bronco went fucking way off the fucking road? Who knows?
It was that one hit you took when you didn't have a fair catch.
Yeah. Unfucking believable. What a dumb world we fucking live in. All right, you got your Australian beer in fucking Japan. Your fucking Canadian beer's coming out of Japan. Can't even tackle a fucking quarterback. 25-yard penalties on like a 50-yard field. What the fuck are we doing here, dude?
I knew you were gonna love that one. That's why I saved it for last. It's top on my notes, but I knew you'd love it.
I mean, the only thing you can count on is this, though.
It's a small world when you've got unbelievable tits, right?
All right. I mean, we got odds, and believe it or not, last year's Grey Cup champion, which I did bet on, which I know you didn't. The Toronto Argonauts superstar quarterback Chad Kelly plus 290 to win another Grey Cup. The Blue Bombers out of Winnipeg plus 380 to win a Grey Cup, and the Alouettes out of Montreal plus 425. I'm not surprised at those three. Not surprised really at the fourth with the BC Lions plus 650. So kind of chalk there. And these are all from DK, by the way. The Rough Riders of Saskatchewan plus 700, the Red Blacks of Ottawa plus 1,000, and the Ticats of Hamilton plus 1,200, the Calgary Stampeders plus 1,500, the Edmonton Eskimos plus 2,000. So wait, I'm so confused because the win totals do not represent anything even close to this.
No.
Like,
I get that they're probably factoring in division and all that, chances of making playoffs, but no, I agree with you. They're a little skewed here.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll get to those win totals, by the way, just right now. But any shock? What's like to me? I think the most shocking to me was the fact that I made the slides for the win total. So it's like, wait, one of these teams has like an over under at 10, so the highest over and under is 10.5. And one of the teams in the back has a 10.5 win total, which is a little surprising to me. Which one jumps out to you though that is the most shocking? And I'm going to go back to the slide later after we preview each team. But which one?
I mean, it's kind of the results or I guess the odds, they don't make a ton of sense to me. Almost any of them. I mean, Argos, they just won. So I get that they are favored, but they had a shit ton of changes. So to me, the odds makers are trusting the system, right? They're trusting the system. They're trusting that the offense will pick it back up, I guess. And the defense, which had the most changes, can keep up. The other thing is, I mean, 6, 7, 9, I'm excluding Calgary. I can make a case for any of these teams. Especially, I don't think the Eskimos should be the last one. I think that's the biggest surprise. If I had to circle one, that's the biggest surprise to me. They had the second overall offense last year. Their defense should, in theory, be much improved. They lost to 3 walk-off field goals. They finished 7-11. You change those 3, you're 10-8. So,
but unproven coach, you could argue. Yeah. But I tend to be with you a little bit there. You look at some of the acquisitions too. Now I will pose a question when we get to it, but that is fair. And I'm kind of surprised at the Stampeders as well.
See, I'm out on the Stampeders.
They were in like every fucking game too. I feel like at least on. Late, it kind of fell apart. I feel like early on, they were in a lot of that action.
I guess you're right. My notes are very miscombobulated here, but I believe here we go. Calgary.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
So with Mayer as their quarterback, more than half of their losses, as he was their starting quarterback, not just last year, were a touchdown or less. So now you got to ask yourself, does Vernon Adams make them a touchdown better? And if so, that wipes out half their losses. So yeah, I guess you can make the case there too.
Yeah, no, I just think his sheer mobility puts so much stress on the defense that I think that is a world of difference right there too. But let's jump into it and shout out to the chat once again. EBT Poppy in here, Channing Brown, who's a big fan of the Huge Tits parlay returning, which we will get to next week. We don't have a Huge Tits parlay that I know of right now. I mean, I didn't prep for this, but
Channing, have you had Swear Jar Canadian whiskey?
Yeah, check it out, buddy. Old Fashioned Football Podcast tonight. Anyway, let's jump into it. Team 1, the Toronto Argonauts, odds on favorite to win yet another Grey Cup. I was talking to Joe Theismann last year, and he still gets up to Toronto like once a year to honor his days as an Argo. So this is a program, or not a program, a franchise that has been dominant for a long time. Obviously, I talked about it. They've been playing football for a long fucking time, but also when you think of a lot of the greats, whether it's Flutie, whether even Ricky Williams or Rocket Ishmael, obviously John Candy once owned part of the team, and they always get big name players. It seems like, and Chad Kelly. Another one of those that, despite what you say, June Jones, another one, our boy June Jones, who's been on the show before. But the Argos 10.5 wins, just like that. Now, as you, I think, alluded, are you surprised at that number? First off, because they've been kind of the face of the league, I feel like, of late, right?
Yeah, I mean, 10.5 wins. They went 10-8 last year, right? But Chad Kelly missed 9 games, I believe it was, because they had, I think, 8 starts from Dukes and I think it was 9 starts from Dukes, 1 start with Arbuckle, 8 starts with Chad Kelly. So I get the argument that, hey, we could get to 10 wins without Chad Kelly all season. We're going to get him back earlier this year, they believe. So 10.5. I get that part. I don't know if they do. Toronto was so good last year. Their offense had nice flashes, don't get me wrong, but they were so good because their defense was so good.
O-line too. I thought the line of scrimmage. I thought the line of scrimmage in general, O-line and D-line, they were really good.
I don't think the D-line is there. Now, the offensive line didn't have a ton of changes, but I don't think their defensive line nor their defensive backs are going to be the same. They lost a lot of guys. I mean, they lost basically their whole defensive line, right? Especially a guy like Jake Serezna. Who was a dog. They lost Priester in the defensive backfield. I think they're going to struggle to adapt to those changes. I think it's going to take them a while. The new defensive line coach. I think it's going to take them a while. So yeah, 10.5 wins seems high to me.
I mean, my thing though is if they have, to me, like, and I don't know that I have this in front of me. Let me see if I can quickly pull this out. But I was curious. In my memory, they stood out as the best rushing team in the league. Right?
They ran the ball very well when Chad Kelly was not in there. When they put Chad Kelly in, we made several comments of, why aren't they running the ball more? They had so much luck. And it's like, now they got a guy that throws and they're not running the ball as much. So do they do that again?
Yeah.
The other big thing is Chad Kelly. I mean, his leg snapped in half. Some guys can come back from that. He seems like the type of psychopath that wouldn't bother him. But I mean, if you look like, I know the SGPN generally hates on the Cowboys, but I thought Dak Prescott was a decent quarterback. After he broke his ankle, he was a way different guy. He did not move around as well. And he just kind of lost some of that fire that led to them winning games. Does Chad Kelly lose some of that fire that leads to them winning games because of that injury? Does he play a little scared?
Well, that's the thing, though, is they still have they re-signed Nick Arbuckle and Cam Dukes. So
Dukes is terrible.
They're still deep. They're deep. He won a game for them.
Look at his preseason action, 1 for 6 for like 9 yards or something.
It's preseason. Who gives a fuck?
You got to play better than that in preseason. And I don't believe in Arbuckle in a long-term scenario. He won the Grey Cup for him. And I think that was good. But in a full season, we've seen that he doesn't necessarily keep that same momentum for a full season.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to say nice things about the Argos or Chad Kelly. One last thing, though. Their director of communications, Mike Hogan, he pointed out the fact that aside from that I guess semifinal where Chad Kelly got hurt, they were historically healthy. They were the healthiest team. They had the least amount of injuries. You got to wonder if maybe that's going to regress a little bit, right? Some negative regression there where they are going to go through some more adversity. They are going to have some more injuries. That's another thing. I mean, you go 10-8, but you had 0 injuries for most of that. You just had the Chad Kelly suspension. So that'll be interesting to watch.
He's just loading up the hate on these Argos, just finding every reason.
Of course. Fuck Chad Kelly. And they didn't re-sign Brian Scott. So fuck him.
The Argos coach, he didn't go to church last Sunday. Ryan Dinwiddie didn't go to church last Sunday. That piece of shit. He's not thankful for his fucking life on planet Earth. Ryan Dinwiddie, I do think is one of the better coaches in this league. I'm old. I can tell I'm old. Not from me bitching about the the rules or the beer companies or the lack of huge tits in society. But I remember him playing quarterback at Boise State in the 90s. It makes me feel so fucking old. But I do think he's one of the better head coaches in the league. Where would you put him? Are you going to say he's fucking terrible too?
You know, I like Ryan Dinwiddie. I do agree with you. He is a good coach. I want to see how that defense performs now that they've lost so many. Can he keep that consistency on defense? And I want to see him run the fucking ball when Chad Kelly's in the game. That's what we started calling him out a little bit last year because he stopped running the ball with Kadeem Carey, and you had so much luck with that. So if he makes those changes, yeah, he's one of the top coaches. If he doesn't, fuck him.
Yes. Look, I mean, these Argos with Ryan Dinwiddie, Chad Kelly, some say is the best quarterback since Flutie to touch the CFL. That includes Ricky Ray. That includes some of the other CFL greats
that
we've had. Some say it out there, man. I was in the CFL Reddits. All right.
Oh, the cesspool of Reddit. Okay.
Cesspool. They're probably the guys that got these fucking foo-foo rules. But anyway, next up, Kadeem Carey. That's your boy, I thought, right?
Yeah, former Chicago Bear. I like Kadeem Carey. He's a hell of a running back, and he's done very well in the CFL if they just give him the ball.
Yeah, and one thing I should note on is, DeMonte Coxey was re-signed, but Mekhi Polk went to the Atlanta Falcons. So that is one. They did get a little bit hit at wideout.
Yeah, he had 5 100-yard receiving games. So that is a huge loss if you got to remember if he makes the Falcons roster. Sometimes those CFL guys, they do get signed and then it doesn't work out. I have a feeling if it doesn't work out, he's right back with Toronto, right?
Probably, but we'll see. I mean, I think it's the offense. I think, and shout out to Dumfries Tickler in here in the chat. Great name. But I feel like the Argos could be a decent overs team this year because the defense seems to be the area where you might be a little bit confused on how well they'll play, how aggressive they'll play with that many losses. But the offensive side of the ball, I think, will still be fine. I do think this team's quarterback proof. They're kind of like these Birmingham Stallions in that UFL bullshit. So
here we go.
Let's go to team 2. We have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I love these Blue Bombers. They were an interesting team last year. Remember, we thought like, man, these old motherfuckers, they can't get it together.
Started 0-4.
Yeah, but don't worry, Zach Collaros, he's suspended for drugs. I'm all over the Bombers over. Just on that, Mike O'Shea passing out the team drugs. That is a team I can get behind.
He wasn't suspended for drugs. He was suspended because he didn't answer a phone call within 24 hours and respond to it. What a dumb fucking rule.
I thought they said he failed a drug test.
I think he failed to respond to taking a drug test. You have 24 hours.
He's going to get his piss clean. He couldn't answer the phone. He's like, I need to find someone. Canada's no joke, man. I've fucking flown into Canada. They interrogated me like I was goddamn Jeffrey Dahmer. Right?
I think he's 37 years old. I'm 38. There are times that I don't want to look at my phone for 24 hours. I get it.
Mike O'Shea could have been an extra in the show Vikings, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that guy's just badass. But the Collaros is back. My guy Strevler is healthy. Tebow 2.0. So Collaros is suspended for what? One game it was, right?
Yeah, just
2.
one.
Well, yeah, one. So we're gonna get to see our boy Strev do the damn thing. These Bombers, Brady Oliveira back at the running back spot, the ageless one. Dalton Schoen is back at the wide receiver spot. Nick Dembski is back at the wide receiver spot. I mean, what do you make of? It's another year older for this team. The core of this team is still kind of intact. I did like the addition of Jareth Stearns. This is a wide receiver that I think I thought, I played him in DFS with Saskatchewan last year. It didn't really work out, but they had their problems offensively in the first half of that season. This is a guy in college at Western Kentucky and Houston Baptist that I thought was really good. I know they lost Drew Wolotarski and Kenny Lawler, but I like Jared Stearns. I think that's a really good addition. And the fact I think Strevler healthy, you got to use my boy. They got to use my boy. Just run that motherfucker. Your thoughts on the Bombers in a team that it kind of reminds me of like the Buffalo Bills late after Marv Levy was gone. Like Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed, Bruce Smith just clinging on, and they're 37 years old. But what do you make of this Bomber team?
Yeah, so I got a lot of comments on this Bombers team. This is O'Shea's contract is up at the end of the year. So could this be the last ride?
Yeah.
I know they signed Zach Claros to an extension, but maybe that's just hey, if things go well, we want to make sure this guy is around. He's getting older too, and he's starting to suffer more injuries. They got Strevler back, and to my understanding, he said, I will come back if I'm used properly, meaning he doesn't just want to run the ball. Keep in mind,
he wants to play tight end too.
Well, keep in mind, last year they did implement the rule that you can have two quarterbacks on the field at the same time. So maybe they start doing a little bit. It's
why would you not do it when it's a 25-yard penalty? Fucking ridiculous.
Right. Good point. So they lost Adam Bighill.
What defines a quarterback? I would put my whole fucking roster on the field as quarterbacks.
Yeah, these are all our quarterbacks. Yeah. They lost Adam Bighill. I saw a lot of people make a big deal about that. That's another 37-year-old who's coming off a knee injury. He just didn't have as much left in the tank, and they brought in a guy named James Vaughters. I love this dude. He played for the Chicago Bears as a defensive end. He's got a high motor, and I think he's going to excel in the CFL. Kenny Lawler, that's a big loss, but they bring in Dylan Mitchell, who's going to play that X receiver. I think that's really good. They got Reggie White Jr., Stearns that you pointed out. He's got the speed, right? That's a guy that can kind of go underneath, catch the ball, move the chains. Love that move. Dalton Schoen coming back from injury, as long as he stays healthy. That's a guy that scored 26 touchdowns in 34 games. I think it's a make or break year for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I think if they don't find success, they've had so many times where they make the Grey Cup, they lose the Grey Cup. Like that seems to be the pattern recently. They got to get over that. They got to win the Grey Cup, or I think maybe they're going to do a little bit of splitting the band up. I will also say I like them bringing in Peyton Logan, the running back. I think he's going to be a good backup to Oliveira. I also think he's a guy that can do some kick and punt returning and kind of give them some more flash. So overall, I really like their offseason. And the quarterback they drafted, Tyler Augers. I don't know if you know this guy. He's actually on the Packers right now, but I have a feeling he'll be coming back to the CFL. 6'6", 230 pounds. And I think he's going to be a dude in the CFL. I think he is their future.
Wow. But you're saying he's not going to make the Packers, right?
He might play there for a year, being on the practice squad or whatever, but I think his home is.
You just don't want him to play for the Packers. It sounds like,
right?
As a Bear fan. And speaking of being a Bear fan, Brian Cox, I forgot to mention that Brian Cox, the longtime Dolphin, Jet, Bear linebacker. His son, by the way, signed by the Argonauts. He was in the NFL for a cup of tea there for the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns. But yeah, I mean, so you're going to take the over on this. It seems like I kind of like it too. It's good storyline.
I do want to see in this next preseason game, will they play the veterans? O'Shea didn't play them at all last year. They also had very little practice time. I realize they don't need it, but I wonder if that's why they started so slow. Shake a little bit of that rust off, start 0-4. That I'm curious to see if they approach that differently.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, they have the best home field in the fucking league. So like,
and the Grey Cup's in Winnipeg. This is the year to do it.
It's meant to be. Give me that over. Give me that over. Next up, let's talk about these Montreal Alouettes. For a lot of the season, we thought they were the team to beat. 10.5 wins, the same. It seems like DK was just like, I don't know. All these teams seem decent. Put every goddamn team at 10.5. I am intrigued to see, because one of the things that I thought was interesting about Montreal was they peaked too early, it seemed like, but they decided to move on from Cody Fajardo.
Yeah.
Davis Alexander, but they did sign McLeod Bethel Thompson, the ageless wonder. They also lost Julian Grant at the wide receiver spot, but they kind of were, like, to me, getting healthy again at the wide receiver spot with Tyler Snead, who was dinged up last year. Phil Potts back. Caleb Evans.
Speaker.
Yeah. I mean, they have a good. I don't know if the Julian Grant thing will really hurt them that much. The defense was nasty a year ago. Actually, the past 2 years, really. I know that they brought back Kabion Ento, who had a big game or two there. Also, they re-signed their running back Walter Fletcher. What do you make of these Alouettes and 10.5?
Yeah, I think the Fletcher signing is underrated, because a lot of people, they say, well, he only had about 700 rushing yards. Well, he had almost 700 receiving yards too. He's probably the best dual threat running back in this league. But I am fading these pussies, and I'll tell you why. They're banning the air horns. The air horns are too loud. We're banning them. TSN doesn't like them by their microphones. Fuck that. Are you kidding me? You're going to ban something the fans are passionate about? This is like banning the beer snake in the UFL. Yeah. I'm fading them just based on that. I love Davis Alexander. From my understanding, he is going to be their starter. McLeod Bethel Thompson will back him up. We liked that he has that kind of dual threat. We kind of liked him over Cody Fajardo when Fajardo was hurt. I think maybe it takes him a little bit of time to get right as the starter, as like, hey, this is all on your shoulders. And just the fact that they're banning the air, I can't believe that, because don't get me wrong, I hate watching the Montreal games because that's all you hear. But to ban it, something that the fans love, that's ridiculous.
What does it do to ruin the game? It's so stupid,
Well, TSN,
but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy, and I'm after you, buddy. You're gonna pay for it. Good night.
TSN, what?
Apparently TSN complained that it caused a lot of ruckus on their microphones. Well, move your fucking microphones.
Who cares? You want
That's a home field advantage thing. All those air horns making noise. Now you're getting rid of that.
That's how the air raid offense started. People might not be aware that Hal Mummy and Mike Leach created the air raid offense at Iowa Wesleyan, and then left to go to Valdosta State there in Georgia, and that became it became like a thing there to sound your air horn. That's why it's called the air raid. And
I didn't know that.
And believe it or not, those pussies came for that too. So they're human terrible beings. They're terrible, right? How do you feel about no more Fajardo? Davis Alexander being the guy. Walter Fletcher's back. I do like his game, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows a lot of faith in him, right? They wouldn't have let Fajardo, who won them a Grey Cup just 2 years ago, they wouldn't have let him walk if they didn't have belief in Davis Alexander taking over. So I think it shows a lot of faith in him. It was an interesting move. I know a lot of the fans kind of did not like the move, but the guy wants a new contract. But
what's
Fajardo
the fans? You got rid of their air horns. You got rid of their star quarterback. Yeah. Montreal, you're doing great. It's a good thing you got a lot of good strip clubs. All right. So that's
why I'm fading this team. And they finished with the best record, I believe, last year, 12-5-1. But I'm fading them this year. With the changes that they've had, and they do have a good O-line. I get that, but just the organization caving to this whole, we're going to get rid of the air horns type deal. I don't like it. I think it sends the wrong message.
Where do you put Jason Moss though? As a coach, he's one of the better in the CFL, right?
Well, I mean, I never thought Cody Fajardo was going to be a Grey Cup winning quarterback, so you got to give some credit to him.
100%. Folks, want to tell you the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Edge Boost. Yes, Edge Boost, the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today, edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, I love playing some CFL action over at Underdog. Underdog is also going low for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus hop in game 1. And the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. So sign up. But when you do, use our promo code TCE SGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCE SGPN. All right, we are back, and let's talk about. I was a bit shocked when going through these win totals. I was like, the Ottawa Red Blacks, 10.5 win total. No team is higher than 10.5, so they're basically saying they could be the 1 seed in the playoffs here. Wow, I didn't see this one coming for head coach Bob Dice. Are you buying into what Bob Dice is doing up there in Ottawa?
Oh man, this is tough. They finished 9-8-1 last year. The biggest thing was Ottawa had historically in the past decade been terrible at home, right? They went 7-1-1 at home last year. So can they keep that up? I mean, that's only winning 2 road games too, which is kind of a red flag to me.
But the offense, if Drew Brown is able to stay healthy.
Yeah, sure.
And then the addition of William Stanback from the BC Lions and formerly the Montreal Alouettes, that could get the ground game going. And the wide receiver, they got my boy Justin Hardy, who's a DFS god. I was repping him all year last year. It seems like the offense could be pretty damn complete.
Yeah,
right?
they needed to do something at the running back position. They were second in passing yards last year, but they were last in rushing and they were last in red zone production. So bringing in William Stanback, bringing in Daniel Adebaboye, those are big running back additions. I mean, they had a game last year where Braylon Addison, their wide receiver, started at running back. They were hurting at running back. So I do like those additions. And if you look at this receiver room, if Drew Brown, who had almost 4,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last year, but it is his second year in the system, right? He's got Justin Hardy. He's got Khalil Pimpleton, who got extended after his breakout year last year. He's got Braylon Addison. He's got Geno Lewis.
Yeah,
they
signed him, I believe, right? They signed him.
They did. They got some dogs at wide receiver. Will their new defensive coordinator, can he get this defense playing well? They bring back their entire defensive line, which I think is big. Darius Pickett is back from injury at linebacker. He's a dog. And he's played for their new defensive coordinator, Will Fields, who came from the Argos as their co-D coordinator. They bring in Robert Priester, who's also played for Will Fields in their defensive backfield. The secondary's pretty much all new, but Priester, I do really like him. Behind him, I'm not sure who's going to start. I don't know. This is a team where I could see them either being really good or really bad. I don't think you're going to get a right in the middle result.
They still got to prove it to me. It's different. It's different. Last year they were ahead of schedule. Now there's expectations, and that's always different when you have expectations. So I'm with you. I teeter towards the under here. Next up, let's take a look at these BC Lions in 9.5. Were you surprised knowing that they sent Vernon Adams out of there, that the win total actually went down, I believe, from a year ago? So now they didn't just lose him, to be fair. They lost, what's our Alexander, the wideout.
Alexander Hollins.
Yeah. Alexander Hollins.
Yeah.
And obviously they lost Stanback, the running back we just referred to. But you got to think they got the franchise quarterback, and they added your boy James Butler, your boy,
Iowa boy.
9.5 wins. Now I am not the biggest Rick Campbell supporter.
Well, he's out, isn't he?
Did I miss that?
I think Rick Campbell's out. Buck Pierce is in.
Oh shit! How did I fuck that up? Stoner moment. Stoner moment. Anyway, I'm sitting there building the slides. I think I did read that. Now that you bring that up. So Buck Pierce. Wait. So refresh my memory. Buck Pierce.
Well, now you're gonna make me look because I don't remember.
No, I'm saying like you're right. I do remember that news now that you bring it up. But Buck Pierce wasn't he? He's never been a head coach before, right? He was just a coordinator, right?
Yeah, I don't believe he has been a head coach. He was the running back coach for the Bombers, then the quarterback coach, then the offensive line coach, and now he's with BC.
How did I fuck that up?
He was a player for BC and the Bombers. So
I know. He played at New Mexico State. I remember him playing at New Mexico State. But, interesting.
So that's the one thing
that's probably the win total. That's probably why the win total is. Yeah.
And it's the one thing that kind of holds me back too, is like now from camp, I'm hearing from the beat reporters that the tempo in practice is up. There's been a lot of feedback from the veterans buying into this. But this team, they got a lot of offensive line questions. That bothers me. Football, I still think, is won in the trenches, right? So they're mixing up all these different combinations in training camp, trying to figure out who's going to be our starting offensive line. That concerns me. I do like the addition of James Butler, the Iowa boy, back in BC. I feel like he's got to be playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he was with BC before he left. Hamilton, I don't feel like they used him properly. So I like that. And then, their wide receivers, you got Justin McInnis on there. If you're watching YouTube right now, he's a dog. Keon Hatcher is a dog. Behind that, though, I'm a little concerned.
The white dude started to emerge last year, I thought.
Berryhill? Is that, or so they have Berryhill, they have Javon Catoy, they have Eberhardt.
Eberhardt, I thought started to emerge in a couple games. But yeah, I mean, I'm a skeptic now. I mean, look, I came in thinking like, okay, I've never been a big Rick Campbell guy. But I don't know about this transition, especially with all they lost. And let's be honest, they're a dome team. That's probably why I didn't pay get enough attention to them. But
it all makes sense now.
yeah. I just phoned it in over there. Yeah, I'm gonna fade them. I'll build a slide or two. No, I did catch that news. I just forgot. Caught that news. I was reading about that news like a month ago.
Well, did you catch the news at the home opener? They will have a performer in Snoop Dogg. I don't know what he knows about CFL, but yeah,
he knows football well. He played at Long Beach High. I've met Snoop Dogg. Hell of a nice guy.
I'm sure he did play at Long Beach High. He's always high.
You know who his high school teammate was Willie McGinnis.
Really? I did not know that.
Willie McGinnis. Snoop coached in Vegas too, man. He knows football. He knows football. All right. Don't shit on Snoop.
I was shitting on Snoop's CFL knowledge.
I think he's got a little knowledge.
All right.
And don't forget, he's got the Snoop and Dre bowl game there in Tucson, Arizona, college football. But yeah, that's interesting. I liked them playing that game in Vancouver Island the other day. Mm-hmm. They played a game in, what was it, Victoria, I think it was. That was awesome.
Yeah.
They should play their whole season there. Get out of that filthy BC palace bullshit. Yeah, Snoop Dogg. They had 50 Cent last year open it up. Now they got Snoop. They're upgrading.
I agree. That's a huge upgrade.
Yeah. Although 50 Cent's tweets about P. Diddy are fucking hilarious. So he's winning, scoring some points with me. They need to have. Hey, if you're listening, please put Mocha only on the fucking bill opening up for Snoop. All right, he's fucking Vancouver. Honor your own fucking people. He's fantastic. Next up, this is always reminds me of a pack of gum. Saskatchewan Roughriders, double mint flavor, 9.5 wins for Corey Mace's bunch. He's still there. I didn't fuck this one up. I told you I would fuck up one more, and I know there's one more that I have fucked up, but I told you it would be more than one. Corey Mace, that's a dude. That's a dude you don't want to talk shit to his face.
Yeah.
All right. I thought he did a decent job last year.
Yeah.
I thought he did a decent job last year. Trevor Harris is back at the quarterback spot. And I see they cut Shea Patterson? Was that?
Yeah.
Somebody cut him. Saskatchewan. Could this be? I mean, 9.5 wins. They're in the mix right there for the playoffs. Can they take another step forward? I know that they added Jake Mayer. I touched on earlier. They lost Jareth Stearns, but Jake Mayer gives them a little bit of depth if Harris gets injured like he does all the time. So hey, and look, they return wide receiver Samuel. How do I pronounce that again? Emilus? Yeah. He had a great year for him last year. Your thoughts on these Rough Riders?
Yeah, I mean, we were surprised with how well Corey Mace, especially how he started the season, right? They did hit a wall and then kind of fall off, but they started strong. They went 8-9-1, and we were kind of surprised first season doing really well. Now it's going to be about, can you maintain that after there's been changes? Reports from camp, I'm hearing that he's cracking down on discipline more than his first year. So maybe he feels a little more comfortable saying, hey, these guys are going to respect me now. But there's already offensive line injuries that are causing some issues for them. They have a lot of defensive line questions, especially after losing Brown, Cox, Linear. They did bring in Mike Rose and Shane Ray, who have had some flashes, but that's concerning when both your trenches are question marks. AJ Alouette is back. Reportedly lost weight, so that should be good, especially because he did have some injuries, so that should help him. What I'm hearing from the people that cover just Saskatchewan, the experts, I guess, is that they're screwed if Jake Mayer has to start any games. Because if Trevor Harris gets injured, you got Jake Mayer, you got Tommy Stevens, who's a third down guy, and Jack Cohn.
Jack Cohn.
Yeah. So this is
thought he retired.
Nope. They lack quarterback depth. I feel like they lack wide receiver depth too. Yeah, they got Samuel Emilus. They have Keon Schaefer-Baker. But beyond that, they got a lot of question marks. So I'm kind of out on this team. I think they regress in this second year.
Now we got a problem.
I mean, Jack Cohn, international man of mystery. He's back. He's back. He just won't give it up. I think I'm out on them too, man. Believe it or not. I think they hit a wall here. I think the rest of the league got better for the most part. Next up, these Hamilton Ticats, man. I know we both had futures on these Ticats last year. Their offense was fire. They were putting up like 450 yards of offense every game and losing by 20. It was fascinating. I was hoping that they would move on from former Maryland Terrapin legend in my hometown, Scott Milanovich, who I do like Scott, but god damn, they were such a soft team last year. Are they gonna be better this year? Bo Levi Mitchell. He's gonna be in the CFL Hall of Fame one day. But they lose James Butler.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did kind of raid Winnipeg. Tim White is back as well. You see who they got? They added some pieces from Winnipeg. Drew Wolotarski, Kenny Lawler. I thought they grabbed someone on the defensive side of the ball too. And they did sign Dimitri Stanley, former Colorado Buffalo, son of Walter Stanley, who played with the Green Bay Packers in the 80s. Your thoughts? I mean, I'm going back to the well, dude. I'm going back to the well. I see this win total sitting here at 8.5, and they could do it this year. They could be a dangerous offense this year. All right. I'm going back. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, Bo Levi, he put up 5,400 yards last year, 32 touchdowns. He did have 18 interceptions, but most of those were in the first half of the year. He reduced them in the second half. So if he can continue that, I think that's great. Adding Kenny Lawler, who was one of the better receivers when healthy last year, is huge. Drew Wolotarski is one of those guys that's always in the right place at the right time. They added defensive back Amos. They also have Reggie Stubblefield they added at the linebacking core. This is a team that if the defense can keep up with stopping opponents the way the offense puts up points, they'll be all right. I think Hamilton football, if you look back in the history, they're better when their defense is stout, right? They're better if they have a good defense to rely on. My concern is that maybe it doesn't take the step forward and it's more of the same from last year where they put up a lot of points, but they also allow a lot of points. But I'm right there with you. I mean, the addition of Kenny Lawler alone, that should help Bo Levi out. He's 35. I'm hearing he considered retirement at the end of last year. So maybe this is Bo's last ride too. And that can play into stuff of how performers play.
There we go. Let's. I like this. You're talking me into all the final hurrahs.
It's also no longer Tim Hortons Field. Did you hear this? We don't know what it is yet. They don't have a sponsor, but it's no longer Tim Hortons Field.
I don't like corporate names on football.
I don't either.
All right, so please call it something cool. How about the Tiger Cage? Tiger Cage Stadium there. Some shit like that. They got to do something, you know.
Well, there's rumors that Arm & Hammer might be the sponsor.
Please.
I believe Arm & Hammer makes cat litter, don't they? So
the hammer. Box. I mean, the hammer angle.
Hammer.
It does fit. It does fit. Shout out to the Ticats. I'm looking forward to going back to the well. The Edmonton Eskimos. What, the win total 7.5? I thought they were projected to be dead last. Something's not adding up. The Eskimos. There's a lot of buzz, a lot of preseason buzz about these Edmonton Eskimos. Obviously, they added Cody Fajardo. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, because I think they went all in on Trey Ford here after such a great year coming out of nowhere. Is it a distraction to add a Grey Cup champion from 2 years ago to back him up?
So I researched all these camp reports and everything. Ed Harvey is in as the GM. Mark Killam in as the head coach, rookie head coach. But from what I've been told, Ed Harvey is a very business-like guy who will tell you exactly how it is. And from what I understand, Cody Fajardo knows he's the backup. He's there to assist and be a veteran.
Okay,
to help Trey Ford get better.
What happens when like that's all fine and dandy until Trey Ford struggles one game or gets dinged up, because Trey Ford runs a lot.
He does run a lot.
We saw him get dinged up last year, and what happens when Fajardo comes in and gets Eskimo Nation behind him when he plays well?
Yeah. No, I hear that. I'm hearing that they are ride or die with Trey Ford, though. This is the last year, from what I understand, that they're all in. Even if he does get injured and gets outperformed, they're putting him back in. I'm hearing a lot about a culture shift between Ed Harvey and Mark Killam. And they were second overall in offense last year. I already talked about, they lost 3 games to walk-off field goals. They brought in a ton of Toronto Argonauts players. They brought in basically their whole defensive line, Jake Serezna, Robbie Smith. They brought in Tyrell Ford, Trey Ford's twin brother, to play defensive back. They brought in Mechie. I'm all in on this team. I think they smashed the over. And I love what they're doing. Alexander Hollins, if you're watching on YouTube, they brought him in. They got Keon Julian Grant. They got Curly Gittins. They got Stephen Dunbar Jr. They also have 6'7" Zach Mathis.
I'm just going to say this right here, and I like Trey Ford. Cody Fajardo gives them the best chance to win the Grey Cup.
Oh, come on.
I really believe that.
You do?
I do. Well, if you're going to go get those receivers, like, I think Trey Ford played great last year. Go listen to us. I was saying they should just play him every fucking time. But I also think he's not like your pocket passer that, like his game is kind of like an and one game. So I don't know that adding these awesome wideouts plays to his strengths. I think it plays to Fajardo's strengths.
That makes sense. I get that. I still am all in on him. No matter who's quarterbacking. The Eskimos, the double E's, as they keep getting referred to.
I can't get fully behind them until they wake up.
They are putting the sign back in the locker room. Once an Eskimo, always an Eskimo.
Yeah, well, put it on their fucking uniforms. All right. And by the way, appreciate what we did here. If you see Curly Gittins Edmonton Eskimos uniform, it does not. It looks a little blank in a way. Same can be said for Trey Ford's there. It's something like the football gods that run the slideshow did some great work. But yeah, the Eskimos, the roster is really loaded.
Yeah.
The roster is really loaded.
They were great on offense last year. They needed defense, and I feel like they addressed that.
But you're not at all worried that, like, I think Trey Ford with great wideouts it's interesting. I think Fajardo might be the one that makes more sense.
I think Trey Ford's a dog.
I think he's a great player too. Don't get me wrong. I just think, like, I don't picture. It's like if you have Dan Marino, if you have great wideouts, you want Clayton and Duper, right? if you have a superstar quarterback, you want the great wideouts around him. Like, I'm talking like a gunslinger. Now,
Sure.
if you have, Michael Vick or something, I don't know that. I mean, yes, it helps to have good wideouts, but I just don't know if that's as much of a, like, I think with Fajardo, if he came in, they might really excel, which could be a bad thing for Eskimo Nation as far as Trey Ford being their future. But we'll see. I'm rooting for Trey Ford. That's my guy, man. Yeah, I love football players, right? You see, the quarterbacks become a pussy position, with the exception of the ones that play football. And to me, Trey Ford actually plays football.
Are you on the over for the win total, though?
I will take the over on the win total. Yeah.
100%.
Next up, we have, well, actually, before I get to that, let me tell the good folks out there that the CFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Rhythm. Yes, CT Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and they just launched their WNBA models. And Rhythm knows you're going to love their product. That's why they give you a free 7-day trial period. And Rhythm's got some great deals going on. 25% off monthly subscription with the promo code SGPN25 and 50% off the annual subscription with the promo code SGPN50. That's Rhythm, RTHM. I'm sorry, RITHMM. I can't spell. That's the CTE kicking in. I like to do a whiskey with CTE. Promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your free 7-day trial period today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And make sure you go over there for that. We're also brought to you by Circus Fantasy Football Giveaway. Yes, in the NFL. Look, I think the NFL sucks, but what's great about the NFL is you can still play fantasy football. I still do it. For your 12-team person, your 12-person league, you get the opportunity via Circa to draft in Las Vegas and be treated like VIPs for your entire stay. And the winner will receive a 2-night stay at the Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league, 6 double king rooms. You can hold your draft at Cabana at Stadium Swim. If you haven't seen Stadium Swim, Google image that. Thank me later. With a $5,000 food and beverage credit, limo transportation to and from the airport. You're going to feel like you're fucking Chad Kelly. By the time you get out of that limo, you're going to be six whiskeys deep. Screaming obscenities at the Vegas locals out the window. Look, there's a welcome party at Legacy Club for the league as well. A reservation at the world's largest sports book for a $500 beverage credit for the league and a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. Got to check that out. The contest runs May 5th through June 30th. Here's how to enter: sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's CIRCA. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. And we're also brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport, including the NBA and NHL playoffs and the CFL, with them right around the corner. And for the true DGens, the MyBookie money bag is a bundle of fun. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations as well. You can easy deposit, get lightning fast payouts using crypto. Head on over to mybookie.ag with the promo code TCESGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Once again, terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back on the CFL Gambling Podcast, the home of the Huge Tits Parlay. Next up, we are going over and talking about the SMU. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Calgary Stampeders. This is a smash play on the over for me. 6.5 wins is insulting because one thing I know, once again showing my age, Dave Dickinson, former Montana quarterback. I think he's a good coach, and I think he is an offensive mind. So when he goes out and adds not only Vernon Adams. Now, this is my concern. They also added PJ Walker.
Don't be concerned about PJ Walker.
He lit the XFL on fire with my boy June Jones.
He was terrible in preseason so far. He's not the same guy. He's lost it.
He's lost it a little bit.
100%.
We'll see. I don't buy into preseason shit much. I can tell you do. You're always searching for content. All right. It's your preseason takes. But Vernon Adams, regardless, I feel like they're sound at the quarterback position. And Reggie Begelton is back at the wide receiver spot. I actually thought they had a great offseason. I think if you're a Stampeder fan, Dominic Rhymes comes in, right? I like some of the additions on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, on the D line with Falarin. What am I missing here? Bring back Jalen Philpott, Dedrick Mills. This team smashed that over. I know you're gonna give me shit on this one. Give me that over, and I might even take a future for the goddamn Grey Cup.
You know, this is the team I keep flipping back and forth on. It's all about, I guess, how they respond to last year. Vernon Adams is a huge change from last year. Now, you've been a CFL fan longer than I, so this stat surprised me a little bit, but they missed the playoffs last year. That was the first time since 2004. This is not a team that's used to being
blue blood. They're a blue blood.
They're not cellar dwellers. They're used to winning. It just didn't get done under Jake Mayer. I already gave out the stat that over half of his losses in his career for the Stampeders were a touchdown or less loss. So if you think Vernon Adams makes them better than a touchdown play, then yeah, you have to smash the over here. The only negatives I can say is they had this CFL PA report card come out, and apparently the players are not happy with how things are ran at Calgary, you know.
Shut the fuck up.
But Calgary's making changes. They're bringing in some hot breakfast. They're renovating the weight room. They have the Calgary Flame.
I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town.
The people that do the food for the Calgary Flames are now doing the food for the Stampeders. They got a new turf.
Who gives a fuck?
The players,
God damn it.
The turf was pretty bad. They had the most non-contact injuries last year.
Well, football should always be played on grass and outdoors. Okay.
Well, they have a new turf now. But
perfect.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
I can hear Vernon Adams' knee snap from here.
I'll tell you what I love though. Vernon Adams is a guy that he's known for. He's a gunslinger, right? He slings the ball. They have 6'1" Reggie Begelton, who, despite only being 6'1", he's a high point guy. He's a 50-50 ball guy. But they have 6'4" Dom Rhymes. They have 6'3" Tevin Jones. They have 6'6" Damian Alford, which was the number 1 draft pick. And then they have Barnes to kind of be an underneath guy. This is the tallest wide receiving core in the league. And I think Vernon Adams is going to have a field day with them putting up points. It's just a matter of if the defense can stop other people. They have a new defensive coordinator. I love bringing in Flo from the Argos, but the defensive backs, they cut pretty much everybody. So yeah, that is a good thing because their defensive backs were terrible, but can you get enough play out of the new guys? Dedrick Mills too. They couldn't run the ball and they couldn't throw the ball long last year. They couldn't do either. Dedrick Mills, I guess, suffered a really bad personal tragedy. He stepped away from the team for several games. From what I understand, he's right in the head now. He's feeling better and he's ready to ball out. So this is a team that if you are sprinkling a little on them to win the Grey Cup, you need to find MOP odds and put a little on Vernon Adams, because I do think he's going to throw for a shit ton of yards.
All over it. All fucking over it. And
but if he gets hurt, they're fucked. PJ Walker and Logan Bonner are not the guys.
PJ's going to figure it out. Don't worry. I got faith in PJ Walker, and I got faith in these fucking
bring in this guy.
Bitch ass players complaining about the fucking food. Shut the fuck up.
Not only that, the families complained that apparently they were the lowest
football scored for money.
They had the lowest score of the families being happy or whatever, and they weren't feeding.
What does that even mean? That's because they're in Calgary.
They weren't feeding the rookies or the practice squad guys. I guess the veterans are buying their breakfasts, and one of the rookies reportedly would load up on this breakfast that the veterans are buying, so he had something to eat all day.
Oh my God. Cry me a fucking river. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Just get the fuck out of here. What a ridiculous storyline. Fuck you. Feed them. Fend for your fucking self. All right. SGPN doesn't pay us fucking meals. All right. God damn it. You make more money than us. I know you got that Canadian tax bullshit. All right. But come on now. They keep giving us lasagna, Mom. You believe that? It's the leftovers from yesterday. We're not getting fresh enough food. Fuck off. All right. But I am all over Calgary, and I will take the over there. And back that does it. So I want to go back to the odds to win the Grey Cup. You can get the Peters, the Stamps at plus 1,500. Jump in on that action. I know you're going with your Eskimos at plus 2,000, aren't you?
It's hard for me not to. One of the best offenses last year, and now their defense should be greatly improved. It's hard for me not to sprinkle a little bit. They don't deserve to be the last team in this league at 20-1. If anybody, I think the Rough Riders should be last. I know that's probably a bold take, but I think they should be last.
I'm gonna put those bitch ass BC Lions last. All right, let's go.
Or the Alouettes.
They're gonna wish they had Rick Campbell. Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, look, before we get out of here, so I think the biggest lock win total wise, I do love Winnipeg. I think that's one of the ones I like most. I do like the Ticats, and I do like the Eskimos and Stampeders. Those are I'll be honest, and if I had to throw a fifth in there, I'll still go with the Argos. I think that O line last season was by far the best offensive line in the league. So if nothing's changed there, I still think they're kind of quarterback proof. So, but if I had to power rank these things, I do love the Bombers over. I do love actually, number one would be the Stampeders over to me. 2 would be the Bombers. 3 would probably be the Eskimos for me. And 4 would be the Ticats, just because I'm stubborn about this offense getting together. How about you, No Turn?
Eskimos over, Bombers over, Red Blacks under. Those are my 3 top ones, but I'll jump in on Calgary over with you as well. I think that's a solid play. I was just throwing in here to see, can we parlay win totals? No, of course not. No huge tits parlay then. Can't parlay win totals.
You'll have to wait.
They're scared.
You'll have to wait until next week's episode for the great huge tits parlay. Some people love huge tits. They're ready to give out a parlay. That's coming next week. But also, look, we got the schedule here. I just wanted to ask you, and we don't have lines yet. Those will be next week. Ottawa at Saskatchewan. I believe that's Thursday. Friday, we jump into the Argos at the Alouettes. Obviously, historical rivalry there. Then Saturday, Hamilton at Calgary. And Sunday, the Eskimos at BC with Snoop Dogg performing there. The game I want to watch most, it's right there. Toronto at Montreal. What's the game you want to watch most, J Mark?
With Nick Arbuckle. I want to watch this Edmonton team. I want to see if I'm right about their defense and that they are going to be a far improved team. This is going to be a tough one, opening it up against BC. I'm sure there's a lot of hype around, can Nathan Rourke, get back to that 2022 form. But I think it might take him a little bit more time. We saw him struggle a little bit last year when trying to take over the reins. So yeah, I can't wait to watch this game. I think it's going to be a good one. Plus you get to watch Snoop Dogg. So let's go. Real quick, East-West division winners. East, Montreal is the favorite, followed by Toronto, then Ottawa, and then Hamilton. The West, Saskatchewan's the favorite to win over Winnipeg, and I don't quite understand that. I'm all over Winnipeg plus 250 to win that one. BC's plus 300, Elks are plus 320, Stamps are plus 650.
650.
This is another thing where it doesn't really align with the win totals, right? Why is Saskatchewan the favorite there?
No idea, but I'll fade that all day. And I think there's value in a lot of these plays, folks. Get in. All right. I'll take Winnipeg and I'll take Calgary. I even think you sprinkle Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah. Winnipeg over 10.5 wins is even money. Saskatchewan plus 105. Why would Saskatchewan be the favorite? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's all fucked up over there. Canadian beers being made in fucking Japan, or American beers being made in Canada. Canadian beers being made in fucking Japan. We're all fucked up. But guess what? We're giving out winners. All right. Subscribe to the CFL Gambling Podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and also YouTube.com. Type in CFL Gambling Podcast. You get our dumb faces staring at you. But we also have some great slides. And we are the home of the Huge Tits Parlay, the Pam Anderson Huge Tits Parlay. Although she's in the new Naked Gun, she's definitely looking 75 years old. But still, there was that moment in time, all right, at that BC Lions game. But anyway, we'll talk more about that next week. I got another show to do, all right? Give J Mark a follow on Twitter at JMarkFootball. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. Check out the UFL Gambling Podcast and the Old Fashioned Football podcast, which they're going live tonight. So check that out. Got that Canadian whiskey ready to get fucked up. There you go. Who doesn't want to get fucked up and talk football? All right. Also check out the College Football Experience and the Sports Gambling Podcast. Till next time, folks. This is the CFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
I lost a bet on the Super Bowl, so I had to dive in and crawl around through the snow. Don't believe me? Believe me, there's a video. We made it to promote March 5th and then we did the show. Before March there was a winter to be lived through, and snow fell on the DC metropolis. In some other cities this wouldn't be big news, but where I live it felt like an apocalypse. Not the kind where zombies are the wrath of God, but the kind where Mother Nature doesn't laugh it off. I didn't laugh at all. I saw the sky smoking the blunt, now waiting for the ash to fall. Traffic stalled for a few weeks. Capitol Hill of snow taking up a parking space. A couple notches on the beltway ain't unique, but higher in freezes get more than your heart to race. I mean the rats were frostbit, they lost it, risking their lives just to make it to the office. Exhausting, caustic, cold front rose up through the mid-Atlantic and did its damage. Detective Baylor didn't expect a camera and brought a gun to a snowball fight. I know my rights in the season of mood swing. Some of us winning, some of us losing. That broken clock's been blinking since winter. I hope it's not telling me I was born to lose. I lost my temper, but I found my center. Winning winter, so I can stay warm with you. That broken clock's been blinking since winter.